So Shivani, thank you for joining me. You've been using the Dyson HEPA Cool system for a few weeks now. What were your first impressions?
Um, I think it's a very aesthetic piece of equipment. So Dyson always makes nice aesthetic equipment. And so I was quite pleased that it was quite compact. It looked good. It was not intrusive. You could put it on the floor. You could put it on the worktops. Um, and easy to use as well. It didn't have too many functions. So the first impression was good. It was a good impression.
So I've been to 11, and you have a lovely cutting edge practice right in the heart of London. Does the system blend in well with your surgery?
Yes. So it looks good. It a lot of the filters are either quite big and white or big and black and cylindrical that you have like barrels that you have to put on the floor. So yeah, I mean it's nothing that stood out that the patients were like, oh, what's that and what's that for? So it was very discreet in that way. So yeah, it's designed well that way to look good in surgeries where there's so much clutter and busyness anyway. So it's a good design.
Perfect. So how easy do you find it to use, and how effective do you feel it is?
So the use was easy in terms of it doesn't have so many function buttons. It's just got the speed 1 to 10. Um, but in terms of effectiveness, I would have to say I used it in one of my smallest rooms, which is what I'm based in clinically. And we used it over the summer, and it blows cold air, but you didn't really feel that cooling of the air, even if you kept the doors closed. So for a clinical setting, if I was to move it into any of the bigger clinical rooms, I would say it would not be effective in our surgery particularly, um, because it wasn't effective in cooling anything. When the temperature went above 24 degrees, it was not cool enough for us. So we moved it then into the administration areas where, the TC rooms where patients, well, there was still a big flow of patients and workflow and throughput of patients where it was more effective. So I would say for us at 11, it would be more of an office-based filter purifier. It looks good. It's versatile. We can easily move it. And it's not invasive, it's quiet, but it would be more in our administrative areas than in our clinical areas.
And do any of the patients notice it or comment? Have they said anything about it?
No, in the administration areas, yes, because it was kept right on the TC's desk, and I guess patients can see it. But when we were using it in the clinics, they were placed on the work surfaces behind us, so also they were unless the patient is facing you and was looking past you, they could see it, but otherwise it would be behind the patients. But yes, we got some really nice comments of, oh, that's new, because lots of patients, come and go at 11 and curious to see, because a lot of people use Dyson at home, whether it's a Dyson Hoover or the circular Dysons, even the long ones we used to have before, or the Dyson the white heating ones. So they were curious to see what this rose gold one was all about, in a dental setting. So we did have a few questions as to what is this about. So LR treatment coordinator would very kindly say, look, this purifies the air. And having said that, saying, it purifies the air and cools at the same time, I think those kind of things also reassure the patient that you're doing your best in adding to trying to make the environment safe, in these COVID times where people are anxious to be in such environments, especially the dental practice.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And how much maintenance does the Dyson unit require?
It doesn't need any maintenance. We haven't done anything to it. Uh, it's just on and off, very simple, easy to move into different offices and different clinics, so easy to carry for one person. So I would say that way it's perfect.
Perfect. And Shivani, is there anything else that you'd just like to add about the unit at all?
I think it's nice that, I mean, when the first COVID precautions and safety rules came about, we had these massive hospital grade filters, which which takes up a lot of space. It's very, very expensive to have in each of our clinics as well. So it would be nice. It's nice that Dyson, such a well-known brand, an aesthetic brand that comes up with these lovely designs, have tried to do something for the clinical setting as well, as opposed to just the domestic settings. And I would just say, perhaps if they could just improve on how they could clear the air in larger settings, because the clinics are quite big in a lot of places. But keeping to that small design would be ideal for us. It would definitely be something that we would then purchase.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you, Shivani. Really appreciate your time.